Coming to you live from the fabulous Rigel Studios in the heart of the entertainment capital of the world, and you know what that is, of course, Las Vegas, Nevada. It's time for another edition of Pick Your Politics. I'm Dennis Silvers, along with my wonderful co-host, Stephanie Phillips, and as you know, a lot of stuff going on around the country right now as far as primaries. They had, Alaska yesterday, they had Wyoming yesterday, where
Wyoming was the best.
Oh, without a doubt, that was the best. And
Yes.
Poor Liz, she got crushed.
She did. And you know what? Rightly so. She deserved to get crushed. In fact, she should change parties because she's not a Republican.
Yeah.
She should change parties.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see, especially what happens in Alaska with the former governor running for one of the seats.
She won her primary?
Yeah, she's one of four people, so we're going to see. But a lot of stuff going on, but we're focusing right here in the state of Nevada, the Silver State. We got a lot of action going on here with people who have made it to the General, which is in the middle of November. And we have a very, very good guest for you today. Let me tell you a little bit about Trish Nash. She is originally from outside of Chicago. She's been a resident of Henderson for, I guess, over 20 years, a couple of decades. Trish is running for a seat on the Henderson City Council representing Ward 3. And if you don't know where Ward 3 is in Henderson, don't worry about it. She's going to tell us all about it. She has a degree in international business and Spanish from Dominican University. Her and her husband own and operate a real estate brokerage company also in Henderson, of course. Trish has garnered many Henderson Community Awards, such as, a Small Business Award for Best Customer Service, the Noble Award from the Henderson Chamber of Commerce, Women of Distinction Award in the real estate sector by the National Association of Women Business Owners. And Trish also sits and has sat on numerous boards and organizations. So she's a very, very busy woman. I could tell you that from personal experience. But anyway, let's welcome her onto the show. Trish Nash, welcome.
Hey, Trish.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How about this for a tagline? What were we going to say for a tagline?
I forget what you said.
Oh, we forgot what we said, but we got to
come up with it.
Oh, don't bash Nash. Vote for Trish.
There you go.
What do you think? What do you think?
Love it.
All right.
Positive. I love positive campaigns.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let me kick it off this way, Trish, and ask you, if John Mars was not termed out, would you have run for the council seat anyway?
I would have. And really it had nothing to do with him terming out. It had to do with the time in which this all occurred, and this all happened in 2020. So several things happened in 2020, which we all know, and that was we had COVID that shut us down. So we all had an opportunity to spend a lot of time thinking about and evaluating our lives. I think most of us had that opportunity in one way or another. And then also we had a very contentious campaign nationally, presidential campaign. And so it's sort of this perfect storm in which I looked at what was going on. It was very frustrating to me. And throughout my time in Henderson, I've lived here for 22 years. Probably the last 5 years, I've had people say to me, you know what, Trish, you're so involved in the community. You care so much about the community. You really have a heart for the community. Why don't you run for local office? And my knee-jerk reaction always was no. And really the reason why was because I just felt I didn't look at myself as a politician, and I didn't like what I saw out there as far as, politics and that type of thing.
Right.
But 2020 happened, and my husband and I had a lot of conversations over the dinner table about what's happening in our nation, what's happening in our community. And he said to me, Trish, I think you might want to consider running. And my, once again, knee-jerk reaction was no, I don't think that I want to do that. But I really started giving it a little bit of thought, not a little bit, I gave it a lot of thought, and really looked deep within. And what I have achieved to do throughout all of my life, adult life, and when I was younger too, is make a difference in the community, make a difference in the world, and just try to make this world a better place. And I know that sounds very Pollyanna-ish.
Yes,
but,
it does.
But I truly believe that. For example, in my business, I want to leave a positive impact with our agents or with our clients. And so getting back to the conversation with my husband, I came back to him and I said, you know what, I think I want to consider this. So I started talking to people that I knew and that I really respected, and people that are in the political world, people that aren't, so on and so forth. And I said, what do you think? Tell me your thoughts. And 99% said, yes, I think you'd be great, Trish. And they encouraged me to do it. And there were a few people that said to me, Trish, do you have any idea what you're getting yourself into?
Right,
you know, it can be very contentious.
Yeah.
It's got to be a labor of love, because there's a lot of work involved, and it can sometimes get nasty.
Yeah.
And your life will not be the same.
No.
And you have a good life, you and your husband have a good life, and that will change. And I thought, well, you know, if I'm going to be an example, and if I'm going to make a positive impact, no one said it was going to be easy. And I know as a business owner, it hasn't been easy, but I believe that I am cut out for it. So here I am.
Good.
And
That's great.
That's the long version of it. And yes, it's been an interesting ride.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people say that, Trish, and it echoes what a lot of people say about why they get in, and I understand that, and I probably do the same thing. But I find it interesting that nobody has told me, at least, and all of the people that we've talked to, and I've talked to one-on-one, when you go to your friends and you go, what do you think? Should I run? Should I give it a shot? This and that. Nobody seems to say, what do I have to do in your mind to earn your vote? Did that ever come out in your conversations?
You mean as far as me asking them?
Yes.
That question?
Yes.
Well, in a sense, it wasn't quite that question, but it was, you know, what are you looking for in a city council person? And do you think that I'm the person that could fit that description and make an impact for the community? So, but of course now, I'm having those conversations of, you know, can I earn your vote? I don't know if I answered the question or not, but that was that was like a quick walkthrough on a for sale house or something. No, I'm kidding you. That was good. Yes.
All right, before I turn it over to my esteemed co-host Stephanie, where is Ward 3? I know, you know, there's several wards, obviously, like there is in Clark County. Where is Ward 3? What does it cover in Henderson, Trish?
So without going street lines, I mean, it's essentially, it's East Henderson. Well, I guess I would say central to East Henderson,
okay,
and then north of Lake Mead.
Okay.
So if you look at that general area. However, one of the things I do want to clarify, because a lot of people don't necessarily understand this, is that in Henderson, we don't have a ward-only vote, we have an at-large vote. So anybody in Henderson can vote. It's very different than Las Vegas.
Yes, yes, didn't know that.
It is ward-only. So, you know, we have a larger area to cover. We have 350 residents, a population is 350, 260,000 registered voters.
Wow.
So, you know, that gives you an idea of where we're at. But at large, they are talking about perhaps changing it to a ward only that is supposed to be on the ballot in November.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's very
So
interesting.
what do you
Good, I
see?
taught you something.
Yes, thank you,
Wonderful.
Trish. What do you see that you want to change the most, being a city council member, and what are the biggest issues facing Henderson?
So, Stephanie, we have something in common, and that is being in the real estate world and having been in real estate for a long time. So, you know, um, one of the things that I would say is that I think our city has done a great job. I mean, we are a premier city, and people come to our city and are attracted to Henderson to live from out of state because we have low taxes and we have wonderful parks and cycling trails. We have so many wonderful amenities and we have low crime. So I want to ensure that we keep it that way because right now we are continuing to grow. The whole valley is growing. And as we continue to grow, there's a lot of challenges with that. And I just want to ensure that what is attracting people to our city will continue that way and that we can continue to have low taxes. And I don't know if you're aware of this yet. Sure, I know you're aware of this, Stephanie, as a real estate broker, but our property taxes are the lowest in all of Clark County. And we're at 70 cents per $100 of assessed value.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes. And
Yeah, that's great.
Las Vegas is $1.05.
Yeah.
North Las Vegas is, I believe it's $1.15. So in any case, there's a large differential there. And we offer a lot of amenities to our residents in that little 70 cents per $100. So I just really want to ensure that we keep our city great and that as we grow, that it is sustainable growth.
Yeah.
And so you asked me about challenges that we have. We have the same challenges that Las Vegas does, North Las Vegas does, and the big one is water.
Yep.
Right.
Sure is.
Hearing about that.
Yeah.
So what we can do as residents and as a city is number one, conservation. I just had a meeting with somebody that lives here in Henderson, and he lives in more of a little rural area where they don't have sidewalks. They call it the horse area where they have horse streets. And he has grass in his front and back of his home, but he has children. He has 9 children and they enjoy the grass, but he's now making a difficult decision that he's going to now change that grass over to artificial turf.
Yeah,
So
smart.
these are things that we all are going to have to do as residents, and then the city has to do the same from the standpoint of now we have a state mandate where we're going to have to change our grass, our non-usable grass to desert landscaping. So these are things that we need to do. But also what we have to do is from the development standpoint, we have to ensure that we are developing responsibly, look at the usage of water in whatever that project is. And I can tell you right now, our city has already turned down some great companies that would have been an asset to our community. But the reason they turned them down to come to Henderson is because they had high water usage in their manufacturing process. So these are the things that we have to look and drill down real deep as we continue to grow.
Yeah,
Very much so.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. And yes, we are in the same business and we've been both here for decades. And when I first started in real estate, I was in the construction and development side of it before I got my real estate license. So I've been to my share of city council meetings and planning commission meetings and those things. And I always have thought that realtors, given our background and what we do, make us very good candidates for city council positions. So what do you say to the critics, Trish, that say, well, because you're in the business, maybe you have a conflict of interest because you know certain developers or certain investors or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you say to those people?
Well, those people, quite frankly, are ill-informed because just because you know somebody doesn't mean you have a conflict. A conflict is where there's a financial gain. So for example, and I'm going to use a random builder of, let's say, KB Homes. If they have a project that is coming to Henderson, and I, as a city council person, am going to be voting on that, just because I'm a real estate broker doesn't mean that I'm financially gaining from them. Now, if I had an interest in their company, then
Right.
that would be something altogether different. So I, quite frankly, agree with you, Stephanie, and thank you for seeing that, because I believe that with the years of my real estate background, I have an institutional knowledge that is well needed as a city council person, such as planning and zoning and permitting. And these are things that we talk about on a regular basis. And I think that that knowledge is going to be very, very helpful, along with having been a 20-year plus successful business owner. And I say successful only because, most small businesses don't make it. And, we have never filed bankruptcy. We've never missed a paycheck for our employees. And we offer benefits, health benefits for our employees. So I am very proud of the fact that we have gone through recessions and,
Yeah.
economic downturns.
Yeah.
And right now we're in a very challenging time in the real estate world. And I know you understand that, Stephanie.
I do.
But I believe that being a business owner and understanding a balance sheet is also going to be very, very helpful when it comes to looking at our city and diving deep into what our needs are.
Yeah, that's well said. There's no doubt about it. First thing, if you have a lower tax rate, can you look for a house for me in Green Ranch? I'm in Green Valley or something. Maybe I'll save some.
Absolutely, and I'm telling you what, it's a great time to buy because there's lots of inventory.
Oh, I know.
That's
You finally
right.
got inventories,
Yep.
and you don't have to work off the multiples now. I know. You
right.
say one of the goals, Trish, if elected, is to, of course, serve your community, obviously, which is a given, and to help foster relationships. I want to know, Trish, what relationships are you talking about?
Well, right now, many residents feel that they don't have a voice. And, they really do. I mean, they can show up to a city council meeting, they can listen, they can speak out on things. But many of them feel that there's not enough, there's a barrier, or there's a lack of communication between the city and them. And there's a lot of information on the city website. The city has a great social media site. And so there's a lot of information that is provided. But people are people, and they want that live interaction. So one of the things that I would like to implement is a quarterly town hall. And I want to have an open door policy. I want people to be able to come and to talk to me and feel that their voice is going to be heard regardless of whether or not we are in agreement, or that, if they have something that they're passionate about and it's a difficult conversation, to be able to have that conversation with them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a great example. 2 days ago, I got a phone call from a very, very angry lady. It was on my voicemail, and she said, "I wish you'd take down all your signs. And
Oh my
you're
goodness.
just plastering them everywhere, and it's just blah, 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 blah." And she was angry and she was mean. And I've had people say to me, "You know what, Trish, when you get into this race, you're going to have those people, and just let it go. You're not going to make everyone happy, so let it go." Well, I'm sorry, I just can't let it go. So what I did was I called her back. She didn't leave her name, but I had her phone number, so I called her. And she started barking at me about my signs, and not just my signs, but everybody's signs, and too much, and blah, blah, blah. So I said, "Ma'am, what is your name?" And I'm not going to give her real name, but let's say it's Mary. And I said, "Mary, you know what? I'm just as tired of those signs as you are. And you know what? I promise you that after November 8th, those signs are coming down too, because I understand your frustration." And I said, "What are some other issues that you have?" So we talked through them, and she was barking a little bit, and then finally she said, thank you, Hun, for answering that question. And then she had another question, and then now I'm Hun. Her voice toned down, and we had probably about a 10-minute conversation. And when it was all said and done, she said, Hun, thank you for calling me back. Yeah, okay, so I was crabby, but you know what? You have my vote.
That's perfect. That's exactly the way to do it.
That is absolutely great. And I want to apologize right now for my cousin calling you and going off on you on that.
That's okay. Mary and I are friends now.
Let me just ask you this real quickly. Deborah March a good mayor? Was she a good mayor?
I think she did a great job. I really, really do. She had a lot of challenges, and being mayor is not an easy job. I would not want to have that job. I know that there was a lot of criticism with things that happened during COVID, but I really, really feel that she did the best she could given circumstances, and brought some great things to our city. I know that many people are not happy about having the Raiders in our backyard, but I personally think that it's a good thing for our community. It has put us on the map. It's put Henderson on the map.
Yeah.
And now I will say, there are a lot of individuals that are not happy with the arena, not the arena, but the facility that is on Green Valley Parkway, the event center. But I have to tell you that I know families that live there that have children, and they love the walkability of being able to go there, go to a Silver Knights game, and the affordability of being able to take their kids and walk there and buy tickets for $12 as opposed to $80 or $100 tickets.
Huge
at the Golden Knights. So Deborah had a great team. The whole city, the city manager, and there was a lot of people involved. Economic development that was involved. So I think she did a very, very good job. And yes, there are critics of the mayor, but there will always be critics of
anybody in political office.
And I know that once I'm in city council, there will be darts on my back. So I understand that. It goes with the territory.
It does, that's for sure. So being in the same business, Trish, we go around town, we show homes, we see building going on everywhere with, no end in sight, it seems like. And I always think to myself, why are they issuing all these building permits like constantly, yet we have the water issue that we have? What do you think about, would you kind of put the brakes on issuing building permits at this point?
Don't they call that tax revenue?
Well,
Well, you have to remember that many of these projects that are happening right now, many of them were approved years ago before we had the real, we've always had a water issue, but before really the water issue actually has really come to light probably in the last 6 months, and really, really, heavily. So here's what I will say. As I said earlier, we have to have sustainable development, and we have to look at what that water usage is. Will the halting of development hurt our city or help our city? And I just feel that in order for us to continue to be a premier city, we have to have some type of growth. Now, what type of growth that is, does it have to be as rapid, fast as it is happening right now? No, not necessarily. But there are projects that are in the queue that have been in the queue for years that we can't just halt now, but now we have to look at, are we going to start going vertical?
Right.
Those are things that we have to there's some really difficult decisions that are going to have to be made. And as a city council person coming in January, I'm prepared to make those difficult decisions, but boy, there's a lot of challenges that we
Oh,
have.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of challenges, and you
And
do have to have growth. You've got to moderate it perhaps sometimes, but if people want to move here, and the water situation is critical,
Yeah.
as Steph and I have talked about before. In fact, I think one of the properties, Trish, just put something up, a proposition of how many bodies are going to be found in Lake Mead by the end of the year. There's an over/under there. I don't know.
that is so bad.
That is so bad. Yeah, I
I
know.
know.
Anyway, let me ask a real question.
All right.
Because we don't need to talk about that cost. So, speaking of campaigns, Trish, and trying to please everybody, and we all know that's not achievable. But how has this affected you personally? Running this campaign, it's the first time that you've run. And what kind of advice would you give to any future candidates?
I have thoroughly enjoyed the process. I love the opportunity to meet people I never would have had a chance to meet. We would not be sitting here right now if I were not running for office. We met as a result of my running for office. So it's been an incredible, incredible journey. But what I will say, it's a challenging journey. And it's challenging because there are many, many people out there that choose to be negative, that want to do what they can to appear to destroy you or try to destroy you. Negativity on social media, it's just really unfortunate. But I would say to anybody looking to run is, first of all, you have to have the buy-in of your family. This will impact your family life. It will impact the amount of free time that you have. It'll impact the amount of social time you have with friends.
Right.
And I've had to give up some, great opportunities to be with friends and do things because I've had to go on campaign events. And it's important. So I've had to stay laser beam focused, not look to the left, not look to the right. Don't get distracted by negativity. Have thick skin. Know that there's darts behind my back, at my back. So it is not for the faint of heart. And also, it's a very expensive proposal. I
Yeah.
had no idea the
Yep.
cost involved in running a campaign.
Right.
It's not.
And you have
It's,
to fundraise. It's difficult sometimes to get
Yep.
those donations.
Oh,
in.
totally. And I was going to ask
Yeah.
you before we let you go, tell people how they could get a hold of you, your website address. They want to donate a few bucks, give you a listing for to sell their house or whatever. And what events do you have coming up, Trish, that perhaps we could help you out with?
Okay, great. Well, thank you. The website address is very simple. It's trishnash.com. Votefortrishnash.com. They can go on there, learn about me. My cell phone number's on there. You can email me. There's an area where you can make a donation. You can volunteer to be part of my campaign group. So that would be how you get a hold of me. And let's see, what was the, any events coming up?
Right.
Actually, there's an event coming up on August 28th. It's going to be at Cadence, in Cadence at the Chimera, I'm sorry, not Cadence, Tuscany at the Chimera Golf Course.
Yeah, which is
And
great.
it will be a meet and greet with myself and my opponent, as well as the opportunity to meet our incoming mayor, our Henderson mayor, Michelle Romero, and then our commissioner, Jim Gibson, will be there as well. So that is on
that's
August 28th. It's at 6 o'clock. And there is information. I can send information to anybody that's interested. But it is by invitation only. And it's going to be a great evening.
So you're
great.
having something with Carrie Cox, your opponent? That's unusual, isn't it?
Well, actually, there's several. This is not a fundraising event. What this is a meet and greet. And there are going to be some questions asked to both of us.
Yeah.
And so we'll have an opportunity to meet people, answer their questions, and then there will be a time where there will be questions asked of us as candidates.
So
All
like a
right,
town
ver-
hall, maybe a little
Yeah,
bit.
very important.
kinda,
Are
yeah.
you serving
Good.
food? If you want the
Of
media
course
to
she
show up,
is.
honey, you know you have to serve food.
She had
if
great-
you have town halls, you have to serve food. Otherwise, I ain't showing.
She had great
Food will
food
be
at her
served.
event at
Huh?
Lake Las Vegas.
Food will be served.
Food would.
Absolutely.
Okay, maybe we'll talk to you about maybe Steph and I can moderate that for you because you need a moderator.
Well, I didn't plan it. It already has a moderator.
Oh,
But
it
thank
does. Okay.
you. Yes. Thank you, though.
Sure.
I'll keep you in mind for some future events.
I would appreciate that. Yeah,
Because
and
you do a great job.
we still need to get together because I need to talk to you about a couple things, Trish. Really.
Okay, absolutely.
I'm going to give you a shout. Anyway, thanks for spending the time. I know you're busy. We wish you all the best. And remember, don't bash Nash. Vote for Trish.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I just want to thank you both for the opportunity. And I love what you're doing with your podcast. And, you're really educating people. And this is so important right now.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Trish.
it is.
It is.
We appreciate the comments. Thanks,
Thanks
Trish.
for coming on.
All
Thanks
right,
for coming
you
on.
guys are both awesome. Okay.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's great. She's got a lot of ideas.
Yeah, she's going to be great. I always think that real estate agents make wonderful planning commission.
Well, you're so biased.
Well, of
Come
course I am, but
on.
we know a lot about the city and what happens in real estate and building and all that stuff. So yeah, she'll make a great city council person.
It's going to be interesting. We got to plan on attending that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're out of time, unfortunately. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Pick Your Politics. Stephanie Phillips, I'm Dennis Silvers. Remember, vet your candidates.
That's right.
Coming up and get out and vote. So we'll see you all back soon next time. So long, everybody.
See you later.